Hello, everyone. This is Andy Schultz from Worst Ever Productions. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. We are so happy to have you guys. And first of all, happy Theater Day. Woo! That's right, guys. It's Happy Theater Day, and we are here to have some fun tonight. We're going to do something a little bit different than we normally do for a show. Normally, when we do a show, we do a live show where we, do our own, we write scripts and we rehearse them and direct them. We're going to do something a little bit different tonight. We're geeks, or at least I'm a geek. I have some amazing geek friends and some friends who weren't geeks but are kind of geeks now because they have fallen in love secretly with these projects. And we're bringing here tonight, guys, our Tribble double feature. That's right, Tribbles. We're big Star Trek fans, and we're bringing you guys tonight the Trouble with Tribbles. We're doing a live live Zoom reading of it. The actors have scripts. We've rehearsed it a couple times, and we've had a lot of fun. But we're here to bring it to you guys now. So we are doing the Trouble with Tribbles tonight, and tomorrow night we're doing Trials and Tribulations. The Trouble with Tribbles that was written. It was actually first aired in December of 1967. It was written by David Gerrold, and it's considered to be one of the most popular episodes of Star Trek in general. It's one of my personal favorites. It's considered to be one of the most comedic episodes, especially due to these little fur balls. If you guys look right behind me, you can see the famous William Shatner being surrounded by these little balls of fur. No one would know that these balls of fur would bring so much joy and become such fan favorites. So, without further ado, guys, we've had so much fun doing this. But we're going to bring you guys this episode. But just to plug a couple things real fast, folks, we want to thank everybody. We got Cinema Cocktails, who has made tonight a special thing during our infamous bar fight scene, a fuzzy Tribble. Also, guys, if you have not checked it out, we shared it earlier in the week, but you can definitely find it. We'll share the link tonight again on our YouTube channel as well as on Facebook. Thank you to Geek Authority for having us on Making Entertainment. We did the interview last weekend. It's up there. It's so much fun. You get to hear some stuff from the entire cast from both nights. And we also got Illusion Alchemy in the house, as well as Professor W's Video Game Lab. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are ready to rock out with your Spock out and have some fun. You guys are going to also hear some little things tonight, such as sound effects. And if you hear this sound effect, that means we're going to be doing a scene shift. So ladies and gentlemen, here is the Trouble Tribbles.
Deep Space Station K7 now within sensor range, Captain.
Good. Mr. Chekhov, this flight is supposed to provide both experience and knowledge. How close will we come to the Klingon outpost if we continue on our present course?
1 parsec, sir. Close enough to smell them.
That is illogical, Ensign. Odors cannot travel through the vacuum of space.
I was making a little joke, sir.
Extremely little, Ensign.
Mr. Spock, immediate past history of the quadrant?
Under dispute between the two parties since initial contact, the Battle of Dontu 5 was fought near here 23 solar years ago. Inconclusive.
Analysis of disputed area.
Undeveloped. Sherman's planet is claimed by both sides, our Federation and the Klingon Empire. We do have the better claim.
The area was first mapped by famous Russian astronomer Ivan Berkov almost 200...
John Burke.
Burke, sir? I don't think so. I'm sure it was...
John Burke was the chief astronomer of the Royal Academy in Old Britain at the time.
Oh, Royal Academy. Well...
Is the rest of your history that faulty, Ensign? Key points of dispute?
Under terms of organic peace treaty, one side or the other must prove it can develop the planet most efficiently.
And unfortunately, though the Klingons are brutal and aggressive, they are most efficient.
I remember once Peter the Great had a problem like that.
Captain.
Kirk here.
I'm picking up a subspace distress call. Priority channel. It's from Space Station K7.
Go to Warp Factor 6.
Code 1 emergency. That's a disaster call.
This is a red alert. Man your battle stations. All hands.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore strange, new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. Captain's log. Stardate 4523.3. Deep Space Station K7 has issued a priority 1 call. More than an emergency, it signals near or total disaster. We can only assume the Klingons have attacked the station. We're going in armed for battle.
Main phasers armed and ready, sir. But there's nothing there, just the station.
Priority 1 distress call, and it's just absolutely peaceful. Lieutenant Uhura breaks up space silence.
Aye, sir. The channel's open, sir.
Space Station K7, this is Captain Kirk of the Enterprise. What is your emergency?
This is Mr. Lurie, manager of K7. I must apologize for the distress call.
Mr. Lurie, you issued a priority 1 distress call. State the nature of your emergency.
Well, perhaps you better beam over. I'll try to explain.
You'll try to explain. You better be prepared to do more than that. Kirk out. Mr. Spock, I'll need your help. Mr. Chekhov, maintain battle readiness. Lieutenant Uhura, see that the transporter room is standing by.
Aye, sir. Transporter room, stand by.
Mr. Lurie, if there's no emergency, why did you issue a priority 1 distress call?
That was my order, Captain.
Captain Kirk, this is Niles Barris. He's out from Earth to take charge of the development project on Sherman's planet.
And that gives you the authority to put an entire quadrant on defense alert?
Mr. Barris is the Federation Undersecretary in charge of agricultural affairs in this quadrant.
That does give him the authority.
This is my assistant, Arn Darvin.
And this is my first officer, Mr. Spock.
Mr. Spock.
And now, Captain, I want all available security guards. I want them posted around the storage compartments.
Storage compartments, storage compartments.
The storage compartments containing the quadrotriticale.
What's quadrotriticale? Wheat. So what?
Quadrotriticale is not a wheat, Captain. Of course, I wouldn't expect you or Mr. Spock to know about such things, but quadrotriticale is a rather, shall I say...
Triticale is a high-yield grain, a 4-lobe hybrid of wheat and rye. A perennial also, I believe. Its root grain, triticale, can trace its ancestry all the way back to 20th century Canada. If you also...
Quadrotriticale is the only Earth grain that grows on Sherman's planet. We have several tons of it here on the station. It's very important that grain gets to Sherman's planet safely. Mr. Barris thinks that Klingon agents are trying to sabotage it.
You issued a priority 1 distress call for a couple tons of wheat?
Quadrotriticale.
Of course, Captain, I realize that you have no clue what the power of this...
Mr. Barris, you summoned the Enterprise without an emergency. You'll take full responsibility for it.
What do you mean?
Misuse of the Priority 1 channels is a Federation offense.
I did not misuse the Priority 1 channel. I want that grain protected.
Captain, couldn't you at least post a couple of guards? We do have a large number of ships passing through.
It would seem a logical precaution, Captain. The Sherman's planet affair is of extreme importance to the Federation.
Kirk to Enterprise.
Enterprise here.
Secure from general quarters and beam down 2 and only 2 security guards. Have them report to Mr. Lurie. Authorize shore leave for all off-duty personnel.
Yes, Captain.
Kirk out.
Captain Kirk, how dare you authorize a mere 2 men for a project of this importance? Starfleet Command is going to hear about this.
I have never questioned the orders of the intelligence of any representative of the Federation. Until now. Summoning a starship on a priority A1 channel to guard some storage compartments. Storage compartments of wheat.
Nevertheless, Captain, the Klingons would not enjoy seeing us successfully develop Sherman's planets.
I guess not. Oh, I see you didn't waste time taking your shore leave.
How often do I get shore leave?
She wants to shop and I thought I would help her.
Excuse me, pardon me, excuse me.
Mr. Chekhov, what do you make of this?
Oh, quadrotriticale. I read about this, but I've never seen any before.
Does everybody know about this wheat but me?
Not everyone, Captain. It's a Russian invention.
Ah.
I don't want any. I told you before, and I'm telling you again, I don't want any more spike and flame gems. Thanks to you, I have enough spike and flame gems to last a lifetime.
Well, how sad for you, my friend, but you won't find a stone anywhere. I may have something, something better, yes. Surely you want some Antarian glow water, yes?
I used that to polish the spike and flame gems.
Yeah. You're a difficult man to reach, but I have something for the far reaches of the galaxy. Sure. Sure, you want one of these?
Not at your price.
What is it? Is it alive? May I hold it?
Why? What is it, lovely lady? It's a tribble.
A tribble?
The sweetest creature known to man. Excepting that, of course, your lovely self.
Oh, it's purring. Listen, it's purring.
It's saying it likes you.
Are you selling them?
That's what we're trying to decide right now.
My friend, 10 credits apiece is a very, very reasonable price. Now you can see yourself how much this lovely little lady appreciates the finer things.
1 credit apiece.
He won't bite, will he?
Sir, transporting harmful animals from one planet to another is against regulations. Or weren't you aware of that? Besides, tribbles have no teeth.
All right. I'll double my offer. 2 credits.
Twice nothing is still nothing.
If you're not going to take him, I'm going to take him. I think he's cute.
4 credits.
Is that an offer or a joke?
That's my offer.
That's a joke.
5.
You're an honest man. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to lessen my price to 8.5 credits. Not a credit more.
You're talking yourself out of it. You're talking yourself out of a deal. And 6 credits. Not a credit more.
7.5. 7? All right, you robber. 6 credits.
Done. When can I have them?
Right away.
All right, what are you selling them for?
Well, let me see, little lady. 6 credits, figure a reasonable markup at a reasonable profit. Say 10% markup, 10 credits.
Thief.
In fact, I'll sell you this one.
Hey, he's eating my grain.
That happens to be my sample. And I shall do with it as I please. And I please to give it to the lovely lady.
Oh, I couldn't. Could I?
I insist.
Oh.
What are you trying to do? Ruin the market?
Once this little lovely lady starts to show this precious little darling around, you won't be able to keep up with them.
Yes, what is it?
Message from Starfleet Captain, Priority Channel. Admiral Fitzpatrick speaking.
Put it on visual, Lieutenant.
Captain Kirk.
Kirk here.
Captain, it is not necessary to remind you of the importance of the Federation's Sherman planet. The key to winning this planet is the grain quadriticale. The shipment of it must be protected. Effective immediately, you will render any aid and assistance which Undersecretary Barris may require. The safety of the grain and the project is your responsibility. Starfleet out.
Now, that's just lovely.
But not totally unexpected.
Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk.
Yes, Lieutenant, what is it?
Sensors are picking up a Klingon battle cruiser rapidly closing on the station.
Go to Red Alert. Notify Mr. Lurie. We'll be right up. What is the position of the Klingon ship?
100 miles, 100 kilometers off of K7. It's just sitting there.
Captain, I have Mr. Lurie.
Put him on visual.
Aye, sir.
Mr. Lurie, there's a Klingon warship hanging 100 kilometers off your station.
I don't think the Klingons are planning to attack us.
Why not?
Because at this moment, the captain of the Klingon ship is sitting right here in my office.
Cancel red alert. We'll beam right down.
Security, cancel red alert.
Captain's log. Stardate 4524.2. A Klingon warship is hovering only 100 kilometers from Deep Space Station K7 while its captain waits in the station manager's office. Their intentions are unknown.
Ah, my dear Captain Kirk.
My dear Captain Koloth.
Let me assure you that my intentions are peaceful. As I've already told Mr. Lurie, the purpose of my presence is to invoke shore leave rights.
Shore leave?
Captain, we Klingons are not as luxury-minded as you Earthers. We do not equip our ships with, how shall I say it, non-essentials. We have been in space for 5 months. What we choose as recreation is our own business. I might also add that under the terms of the Organian Peace Treaty, you cannot refuse us.
Yes, well, I don't make these decisions. Mr. Lurie is in charge of those matters.
Captain, may I speak to you a minute? Look, I don't want them here, but I don't have the authority to refuse.
Well, I have the authority to act, and I'm going to use it. My dear Captain Koloth, you may indeed bring your men down on shore leave, but only 12 at a time. And I assure you, for every man you bring down, I shall have 1 security guard. There will be no trouble.
Captain Kirk, there's been no formal declaration of hostilities between our 2 respective governments, so naturally, our relationship will be a peaceful one.
Let us both take steps to keep it that way.
Of course.
Another technical journal, Scotty?
Aye,
Don't you ever relax?
I am relaxing.
How long have you had that thing, Lieutenant?
Since yesterday, Doctor. This morning I found out that she had had babies.
Well, in that case, you got a bargain.
You running a nursery, Lieutenant?
Oh, Captain. Well, I hadn't intended to, sir, but the Tribble had other plans.
Did you get this at the space station?
Yes, sir.
Most curious creature, Captain. Its trilling seems to have a tranquilizing effect on the human nervous system. Fortunately, of course, I am immune to its effects.
Lieutenant, do you mind if I take one of these down to the lab and see what makes it tick?
Well, all right, Doctor, but if you're going to dissect it, I don't want to know about it.
I won't harm a hair on its head, wherever that is.
Say, Lieutenant, as long as you're giving them away, can I have one?
Sure, why not? I think they're old enough. Go ahead.
Mr. Captain Kirk,
Kirk here.
Mr. Barris is waiting on Channel E to speak to you, sir.
Pipe it down here, will you, Mr. Chekhov?
Aye, son, Mr. Barris coming on.
Yes, Mr. Barris. What can I do for you?
Captain Kirk, this station is swarming with Klingons.
I was not aware, Mr. Barris, that 12 Klingons constitutes a swarm.
Captain Kirk, there are Klingon soldiers on the station. Now I want you to keep the grain safe.
Mr. Barris, I have guards around the grain. I have guards around the Klingons. The only reason those guards are there is because Starfleet wants them there. As for what you want, it has been noted and logged. Kirk out.
Captain, may I ask where you'll be?
Sick bay with a headache.
Hi, Jim.
Bones, what have you got for a headache?
Let me guess. Klingons, Barris,
Both. How many of these did Uhura give you?
just one.
But you've got 11.
You noticed that, huh? Well, guess I'll take care of it.
How do they...
I haven't figured that out yet. But I can tell you this much. About 50% of the creature's metabolism is geared for reproduction. Do you know what you get if you feed a Tribble too much?
A fat Tribble.
No. You get a bunch of hungry little Tribbles.
Well, Bones, all I can suggest is you open up a maternity ward. All you men going on shore leave to stay in groups. Avoid trouble with the Klingons.
I'll tell them before they go, sir.
Aren't you going on shore leave, Scotty?
Why no, sir?
I want you to go on shore leave. Make sure that everybody stays out of trouble.
But Captain...
Scotty,
Aye, sir.
enjoy yourself.
Friend, can I offer you a charming little Tribble? Yes.
No, thanks.
Perhaps one of you other gents. Friend Klingon. Can I interest you in a harmless little Tribble?
Get it away from me.
I'm sorry. I can't understand it. I've never seen them act this way before.
Get out of here with that parasite.
It's only a harmless little...
Take it away.
Oh, well. Ah! Yes. My good friend. How would you like to end another little transaction? Perhaps this time a Tribble for a small spot of...
A Tribble?
Yeah.
A Tribble? A Tribble.
Yes. Indeed.
When are you going to get off that milk diet, lad?
This is vodka.
Where I come from, that's soda pop. This is a drink for a man.
Scotch?
Aye.
It was invented by a little old lady from Leningrad.
The Earthers like those fuzzy things, don't they?
Well, yes.
Frankly, I never liked Earthers. They remind me of Regulan bloodworms.
That's Cossack.
Easy, lad. You ought to be more forgiving.
No, I just remembered. There is one Earthman who doesn't remind me of a Regulan bloodworm. That's Kirk. A Regulan bloodworm is soft and shapeless, but Kirk isn't soft. Kirk may be a swaggering, overbearing, tin-plated dictator with delusions of godhood, but he's not soft.
Take it easy, lad. Everybody's entitled to an opinion.
That's right. And if I think Kirk is a Denebian slime devil, well, that's my opinion too.
Don't do it, mister! And that's an order!
You heard what he called the captain.
Forget it. It's not worth fighting for. We're big enough to take a few insults. Now drink your drink.
Of course, I'd say that Captain Kirk deserves his ship. We like the Enterprise. We really do. That sagging old rust bucket is designed like a garbage scow. Half the quadrant knows it. That's why they're learning to speak Klingonese.
Mr. Scott!
Laddie, don't you think you should rephrase that?
You're right. I should. I didn't mean to say that the Enterprise should be hauling garbage. I meant to say it should be hauled as garbage.
Good evening. I am Mr. Spock. As a Vulcan scientist, I have taken it upon myself to learn of Earth's cultures and customs, this including the art of mixology, or the mixing of liquors and spirits to make cocktails. In celebration of tonight's festivities, I will be making a variation on the fuzzy navel, or as I like to call it, a fuzzy tribble. Simply start with a tall glass or tumbler. Fill up with ice, and then add 1 ounce of your favorite vodka. Then add 1 ounce of peach schnapps. Add 4 ounces of orange juice. And then add 4 ounces of Sprite or your favorite lemon lime soda. A fuzzy tribble. You can also make a virgin variation of this drink by simply excluding the vodka and peach schnapps. A virgin is a creature that has not engaged in sexual activities. Thank you. Live long and prosper.
Captain's log, stardate 4525.6. A small disturbance between the Klingon crew and members of the Enterprise crew had broken out aboard Space Station K7. I am forced to cancel shore leave for both ships. I want to know who started it. I'm waiting. Freeman, who started the fight?
I don't know, sir.
All right. Chekhov, I know you. You started it, didn't you?
Oh, sir, I didn't.
Who did?
I don't know, sir.
I don't know, sir. I want to know who threw the first punch. All right? You're all confined to quarters until I find out who started it. Dismissed. Scotty, not you. You were supposed to prevent trouble, Mr. Scott.
Aye, Captain.
Who threw the first punch, Scotty?
Mr.
Mr. Scott.
I did, Captain.
You did, Mr. Scott. What caused it, Scotty?
They insulted us, sir.
Must have been some insult.
Aye, it was.
You threw the first punch.
Aye. Chekhov wanted to, but I held him back.
You held? Why did Chekhov want to start a fight?
Well, the Klingons, sir. Is this off the record?
No, this is not off the record.
Well, Captain, the Klingons called you, a tin-plated, overbearing, swaggering dictator with delusions of godhood.
Is that all?
No, sir. They also compared you with the Danubian slime devil.
I see.
And then they said that you...
I get the picture, Scotty.
Yes, sir.
After they said all this, that's when you hit the Klingons?
No, sir.
No.
No, I didn't. You told us to avoid trouble.
Oh, yes.
And I didn't see that it was worth fighting about. After all, we're big enough to take a few insults, aren't we?
What was it they said that started the fight?
They called the Enterprise a garbage scow, sir.
I see. And that's when you hit the Klingons?
Yes, sir.
You hit the Klingons because they insulted the Enterprise, not because they...
Well, sir, this was a matter of pride.
All right, Scotty. Dismissed. Scotty, you're restricted to quarters until further notice.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. That'll give me a chance to catch up on my technical journals.
What's the matter, Spock?
There's something disquieting about these creatures.
Don't tell me you've got a feeling.
Don't be insulting, Doctor. They remind me of the lilies of the field. They toil not, neither do they spin, but they seem to eat a great deal. I see no practical use for them.
Does everything have to have a practical use for you? They're nice, soft, and furry. They make a pleasant sound.
So it's human violin, but I see no advantage in having one.
It's a human characteristic to love little animals, especially if they're attractive in some way.
Doctor, I am well aware of human characteristics. I am frequently inundated by them, but I've trained myself to put up with practically anything.
Spock, I don't know too much about these little Tribbles yet, but there's one thing that I have discovered.
What is that, Doctor?
I like them better than I like you.
Doctor.
Yes?
They do have one redeeming characteristic.
What's that?
They do not talk too much. If you'll excuse me, sir.
Dr. McCoy, would you mind coming up to the bridge? Lieutenant Uhura, how did all these Tribbles get on the bridge?
I don't know, sir. They do seem to be all over the ship.
Dr. McCoy.
Yes? Did you want to see me, Jim? Oh, don't look at me. It's the Tribbles who are breeding. If we don't get them off this ship, we're going to be hip deep in them.
Explain that.
The nearest thing I can figure out is that they're born pregnant, which seems to be quite a time saver.
I know, but really.
And from my observations, it seems they're bisexual, reproducing at will, and brother, have they got a lot of will.
Captain, I am forced to agree with the doctor. I've been running computations on their rate of reproduction. The figures are taking an alarming direction. They're consuming our supplies and returning nothing.
But they do give us something, Mr. Spock. They give us love. Well, Cyrano Jones says a Tribble is the only love that money can buy.
Too much of anything, Lieutenant. Even love isn't necessarily a good thing.
Yes, Captain.
Get the maintenance crew to clean up the entire ship, and then contact Mr. Larry and tell him I'm beaming down.
Aye, aye.
Have him and Cyrano Jones and hold him.
Aye.
And get these Tribbles off the bridge.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Captain Kirk, I am mystified by your tone of voice. I have done nothing to warrant such severe treatment.
Oh, really?
Surely you must have realized what would happen if you removed the Tribbles from their predatory-filled environment into an environment where their natural multiplicative proclivities would have no restricting factors.
Of course. What did you say?
By removing the Tribbles from their natural habitat, you have, so to speak, removed the cork from the bottle and allowed the genie to escape.
Well, if you mean by that, do they breed quickly? Of course! That's how I maintain my stock. Breeding animals is not against regulations, only breeding dangerous ones, and Tribbles are not dangerous.
Just incredibly prolific.
Precisely, and it's good. It's a head, well, a body, it mounts up. Now, if you'll excuse me.
You should sell an instruction and maintenance manual for this thing.
Well, if I did, what would happen to man's search for knowledge? Well, I must be tending my ship. Au revoir.
Go ahead, sir. Tell him.
Captain Kirk, I consider your security measures a disgrace. In my opinion, you have taken this important project far too lightly.
On the contrary, sir, I think of this project as very important. It is you I take lightly.
I am going to report fully to the proper authorities that you have given free and complete access to this station to a man who is quite probably a Klingon spy.
That's a serious charge. To whom are you referring?
To that man who just walked out of here.
Cyrano Jones, a Klingon agent.
You heard me.
I heard you.
He simply could not believe his ears.
What evidence do you have against Mr. Jones?
My assistant here has been keeping Mr. Jones under close surveillance for quite some time, and his actions have been most suspicious. I believe he was involved in that little altercation between your men and the men from the Klingon ship earlier?
Yes. Go on. What else do you have?
Well, Captain, I've checked his ship's log, and it seems that he was within the Klingon sphere of influence less than 4 months ago.
The man is an independent scout, Captain. It's quite possible he is also a Klingon spy.
We have already checked on the background of Mr. Cyrano Jones. He is a licensed asteroid locator and prospector. He's never broken the law, at least not severely. For the past 7 years, with his one-man spaceship, he's obtained a marginal living by engaging in the buying of selling of rare merchandises, including, unfortunately, triples.
But he is after my grain.
Do you have any proof of that?
You can't deny he's disrupted this station.
People have disrupted stations before without being Klingon agents. Sometimes, all they need is a title, Mr. Barris. Unfortunately, disrupting a space station is not an offense. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a ship to attend to. Au revoir. My chicken sandwich and coffee. This is my chicken sandwich and coffee.
Fascinating.
I want these off the ship. I don't care if it takes every man we've got. I want them off the ship.
They're into the machinery, all right. They're probably in the other food processors, too.
How?
Probably through one of the air vents.
And
there are vents of that type on the space station.
And then the storage compartments. This is Kirk. Contact Manager Larry and Niels Barris. Have them meet us near the storage compartments. We're beaming down. Come on, Spock. Energize.
What's wrong?
Plenty. If I just think what's happened has happened. Is that door secure?
Yes, sir. Nothing could get in.
Good. Open it.
It's not working, sir. It seems to be stuck.
Here, let me try.
They seem to be gorged.
Gorged? On my grain? I am going to hold you responsible. There must be thousands of them.
Hundreds of thousands.
1,771,561. That's assuming one Tribble multiplying with an average litter of 10, producing a new generation every 12 hours over a period of 3 days.
That's assuming they got here 3 days ago.
And allowing for the amount of grain consumed and the volume of the storage compartments.
Kirk, you should have known. You are responsible for turning the development project into a total disaster.
Mr. Barris.
And I'm not going to be intimidated by you, Kirk. You have insulted me, you have ignored me, you have walked all over me. You have abused your authority, and you've rejected my requests. And this is the result? I'm going to hold you responsible.
Mr. Barris, I'll hold you in irons if you don't shut up.
Jim, I've got it. All we have to do is quit feeding them. We quit feeding them, they stop breeding.
Now he tells me.
Captain, this Tribble is dead, and so are these.
A lot of them are dead. A lot are alive, but they won't be for long.
The logical assumption is that there's something in the grain.
Yes. Bones, I want the Tribbles, the grain, everything analyzed. I want to know what killed these Tribbles.
I haven't figured out what keeps them alive yet. All right. I'll if I find out anything, I'll let you know.
That isn't going to do you any good, Kirk. This project is ruined, and Starfleet is going to hear about it. And when they do, I'll have the Board of Inquiries, and they will roast you alive. And I'm going to be there, Kirk, to enjoy every minute of it.
Until that inquiry, I'm still the captain. And as captain, I want 2 things done. First, find Cyrano Jones. And second, close that door.
Really? Captain Kirk, I must protest this treatment.
Ah, Mr. Jones, with an armful. A few questions.
Captain Kirk,
What do you want?
an official apology addressed to the Klingon High Command. I expect you to assume full responsibility for the persecution of Klingon nationals in this quadrant.
An apology.
Yes, you've harassed my men, you've treated them like criminals, you've been most uncourteous, Captain Kirk. If you wish to avoid a diplomatic incident...
No, Kirk! You can't let him. That will give him the wedge they need to claim Sherman's planet.
I believe that more than a word of an aggravated Klingon commander would be necessary for that, Mr. Barris.
Mr. Spock, as far as Sherman's planet is concerned, Captain Kirk has already given it to us.
Well, we'll see about that. But before I take any official action, I'd like to know just what happened. Who put the Tribbles in the Quadritriticale? What was in the grain that killed them?
Captain Kirk, before you go, may I make a request?
Yes.
Can you get those things out of here?
Remarkable.
Hold on just a minute. I thought you said Tribbles liked everybody.
They do. I can't understand it. Last time I saw one act this way was at the bar.
What was in the bar?
Klingons. Him, for one.
Well, you're right, Mr. Jones. They don't like Klingons. But they do like Vulcans. I didn't know you had it in you.
Obviously, Tribbles are very perceptive creatures, Captain.
Obviously. Mr. Barris, they like you. Well, there's no accounting for taste. Oh, they don't like you, Mr. Darvin. I wonder why, Bones.
Heartbeat is all wrong. His body temperature is... Jim, this man is a Klingon.
A Klingon?
I wonder what Starfleet Command will say about that. What about the grain, Bones?
Oh, yes, it was poisoned.
Poisoned?
Yes, it's been impregnated with a virus. The virus turns into an inert material in the bloodstream. The more the organism eats, the more inert matter builds up. So after 2 or 3 days, you've reached the point where they can't take in enough nourishment to survive.
They starve to death. In a storage compartment full of grain, they starve to death.
That is essentially it.
Mr. Darwin, are you going to talk?
I have nothing to say. All right, I poisoned the grain. Take them away.
And the Tribbles had nothing to do with it?
I don't know. I never saw one before in my life. I hope I never see one of those furry, miserable things again.
I'm certain that can be arranged, Darvin. Guards, you'll excuse me, Captain?
Captain Koloth. About...
Yes.
About that...
Yes.
May I? About that apology.
Yes.
You have 6 hours to get your ship out of Federation territory. You know, I think I could learn to like Tribbles.
Well, Captain, I suppose I'm free to go.
No, you're not. There's something I want to show you. You know what the penalty is for transporting an animal proven harmful to human life?
Captain, how can one little Tribble be harmful? Captain, you wouldn't do a thing like that to me, now would you? Would you?
The penalty is 20 years in a rehabilitation colony.
Captain Kirk, Friend Kirk! Surely we can come to some sort of mutual understanding. After all, my Tribbles did put you wise to the poison grain, and they did help you find that Klingon agent. Yes. Saved a lot of lives that way.
There is one thing you could do.
Yes?
Pick up every Tribble on the space station. If you do that, I'll speak to Mr. Lurie about returning your spaceship.
Well, that would take years.
17.9 to be exact.
17.9.
Consider it job security.
Captain, you're a hard man. All right.
You'll do it.
He'll do it.
I'll do it.
Captain, Starfleet was able to divert that freighter.
Good. That means Sherman's planet will get its quadritriticale only a few weeks late. I don't see any Tribbles around here.
And you won't find a Tribble on this entire ship.
Bones, how did you do it?
I cannot take credit for another man's work. Scotty did it.
Scotty, where are the Tribbles?
Oh, Captain, it was really Mr. Spock's recommendation.
Of course. Spock.
Based on computer analysis, of course, taking into account of the possibilities of...
Gentlemen, I don't want to interrupt this mutual admiration society, but I'd like to know where the Tribbles are.
Tell him, Spock.
Well, it was Mr. Scott who performed the actual engineering.
Mr. Scott, where are the Tribbles?
I used the transporter, sir.
You used a transporter.
Aye.
Where did you transport them? Scott, you didn't transport them into space, did you?
Captain Kirk, that'd be inhuman.
Where are they?
I gave them a good home, sir.
Where?
I gave them to the Klingons, sir.
You gave them to the Klingons?
Aye, sir. Before they went into warp, I transported the whole kit and caboodle into their engine room, where there'll be no Tribble at all.
And that's our show. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Trouble with Tribbles. Thank you guys so much. Let's bring our cast back on, guys, because we're about to do a live Q&A. But first of all, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you guys have been having fun. Big round of applause for our cast, guys. Woo! Thank you guys. And guys, yes, we are live on Facebook right now. As you guys can see, I'm gonna hold my phone up to if I can. Here's my phone. You guys can kind of see it. Is it in front of me? Yeah, there we go. We are live. We are watching you guys. Thank you so much. Folks, we're going to do a Q&A right now. I want you guys to ask questions, and we're going to have some fun trivia for the cast. But guys, thank you so much. Please, folks, let me introduce our awesome cast. I'm going to introduce them how I see them on my screen. Our Mr. Spock, Mike Barroga. Montgomery Scott, Stephen Alloway. Bones McCoy, Tyler Bianchi. Cyrano Jones, Gianna Campbell. Our Captain Kirk, Brett Gustafson. Arn Darwin, Mr. Bobby Watson. Undersecretary Nils Byers, Lorenzo Marchessi. Chekhov, Anne Lurie, Mr. Jonathan Agurcia. Lieutenant Hora, Mia Geere. Koloth, Korax, all the Klingons, Vincent Miller. And our barman, Fitzpatrick. And Freeman, Mr. Patrick McGrath. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, that's our cast. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Please stick around for a few minutes. We're going to do some Q&A stuff. But folks, thank you guys. If you guys had a great time tonight, thank you. We all got to geek out. We got some fun stuff. We got a fuzzy Tribble. But folks, as always, if you guys are, if you had fun tonight and you're in the giving mood and you're in a position to do so, help out. It's World Theater Day. Help out a small theater company. If you have a couple bucks, please feel free to donate it. Every dollar helps. It goes right back into our into bringing you a future show. Right now, obviously, with the world the way it is, we don't know when we can get back into live space. but we hope to get back into this live space, in 2022. Safety is always the most important thing ever here. We care about everybody. My cast, my crew, and you, the audience, are the most important things to us, and we don't want to put anybody in danger. But if you guys are, like I said, if you feel free to, you can hit us up on Venmo at Worst Ever Prods, or you can find us on PayPal at paypal.me/Worst Ever Prods. And in a few moments, I'll actually put up a little thing up on the screen so you can take your cell phone and put it there and just look at the little codes on there, and that'll help. But folks, thank you guys. We got an awesome cast and crew here. If you guys would like to know more about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff of going into this production, please check out the Geek Authority. Lorenzo Marchessi here. He hosts a show called Making Entertainment, where he goes behind the scenes of the show while it's in production. Or right before it starts doing it, and he got to ask a lot of the same questions that you guys would normally get to hear during a Q&A. So definitely want to hear from you guys. I'm gonna ask a couple questions. I want you to love, guys. First of all, I want you to love that the audience has been sending to you guys. I know some of you guys broke the rule, Tyler, and went on Facebook during the reading to see what people were doing.
On my phone, not on my computer. That doesn't count.
So we got this going on. So here we got Gwen Harris, bisexual, reproducing at will. Yes, they are. Tribbles are born pregnant, and man, they got a lot of will. Jen Barroga, bravissimo. Heather says, great job, everyone. Mike Campbell says, amazing. Chris Winter, great job. Ron Gabaldon, well done, killed it. Kelly Copeland, absolutely amazing. Congrats, everyone. Thank you. Hobbit, yeah, Christine Purcell joined in. I'm assuming John's there too, saying clap, clap. Wanda Gross, Data, Bravo crew, loved it. Bless you all. Thank you. That means a lot to us. Jen, woo, GG. Let's see here. Oh, Heather Lehigh says Brett has a future in a future reboot of TJ Hooker. Caitlin says my dad's a star. Mikey, well, thanks for the enjoyment. Until next time, live long and prosper. Andrew's been watching. Thank you. Let's see. I think Brett and Adam Rich should talk a Rescue 911 reunion. Spocks on the Rocks, Barroga's Spirit and Beverage Podcast. LOL, great job. How did you pick this episode to read over many other classic episodes? This is from Jen. Jen, thank you. That's a great question. I am a lifelong Star Trek fan. I've been watching Star Trek probably since I was a little kid. I'm 36 now, and I've probably been watching it since I was 6 or 7. I think I did. I will be honest. I started off with Next Generation. That was the first thing I saw, and I really took to it. And then I discovered through other things watching the original series. So probably by the time I was 12 or 13, I was well versed into the Trek lore. So it's been very much a part of my life. And the Trouble with Tribbles has always been one of my absolute favorite episodes. It is probably the most, out of all the series, probably one of the most comedic episodes, which is, I think, very true. If you've ever watched, especially the scene with, if you look behind me, the wallpaper, there's a point where Kirk gets pummeled, opening up with just, literally, it's actually 500 Tribbles, by the way. I actually did the research. It was 500 Tribbles in that scene. But they're not all stacked around. There's actually a thing in front of him where they glued Tribbles to. So he's standing behind that, and then they dropped a couple hundred onto him. But yeah, it's one of my favorite episodes from all the series, and it's a classic. Especially if you follow tomorrow night with the Trials and Tribulations, we get to revisit the episode again through DS9. So thank you on that one, Jim. Lorenzo, great job both with your performance and costume. That was from Angie Weitzman. So big job there. Also, folks, just so you know, there is about a 10-second delay between what we're doing here and what we read on the screen. So if you guys see us, if we don't respond right away, there's, like I said, about 10 seconds or so. Kelly wants to know, how many of you already have Tribbles at home? So if you guys have Tribbles, raise your hands. About half the cast has Tribbles. Some of them secretly want them, or they have Baby Yodas. So,
multiple Tribbles, none of them are within reach.
Yeah. We have, so have multiple. My niece has my Tribbles, and she will not give them back. She also has my Baby Yodas and will not give them back. So, but that was one of them. So, but thank you. About half the cast does. and Tribbles are so much fun. They are. Who would have thought these little balls of fur would do that? Catherine Campbell says, well done. Looking forward to tomorrow, too. Yes, folks, tune in tomorrow night. We are doing Trials and Tribulations. The entire cast is back here. We'll be here again tomorrow night. And some of them will be playing multiple characters, so you might get to see some familiar faces. And we'll also, for those of you guys who did not see right away or had questions regarding the Fuzzy Tribble, I believe Cinema Cocktails will be making another appearance during that bar scene, making it again. So that's a lot of fun. Let's see here. Angie says, great job, everyone. Vincent, you killed it. Great job. Catherine wants to know, how long has Worst Ever Productions been a thing? Technically, if you really want the true answer, probably since 2006. I started in college. Vince and Tyler were a part of it back then. We worked in Moore Park College. That's actually where we all met. And the very first play I ever wrote there was called The Worst Date Ever. And Worst Ever kind of just developed from that. And so while I was in college, that's what every production we did was a Worst Ever production. But Worst Ever Productions as a grown-up theater company started in, technically we just had our official 2 years, ceremony earlier this month, the first week of March. When we started the idea of starting our own company, and we actually had our very first reading, a couple of readings we did. But our first show that we did wouldn't be until August of 2019. So however way you want to look at it, but as a grown-up theater company doing stuff, it's been since March of 2019. Let's see here. Awesome accent and job, Steve Alloway. Great job.
Thank you.
Kevin Reardon said, very funny and true to the series. Well done, folks. Kudos. Michael, great job, everyone. Catherine says, when you are able to do live theater again, what type of productions do you guys have planned? We do a lot of different kinds of things. We've actually have, so for those who didn't know, for 2019, going into 2020, we actually had a season planned. And unfortunately, we had to postpone all those shows because of COVID and everything. We've kind of delved into this online Zoom theater, which has been so much fun. But we do comedy, we do horror. We have a show coming up hopefully in beginning of 2022 called Monstrosity, which is going to be a full-on horror thing that some of the cast here has been involved in. It's really, really cool. But we do a lot of stuff. We do a lot of comedy, we do sci-fi, we do dark comedy. Here on Zoom, we have coming up a thing called Fandemonium, which is going to be another geek-based show, which is kind of cool. And so a lot of different things. But yeah, so great question, Catherine. But I want to turn some of the questions to you guys now. So thank you, first of all, for you guys to love. If you guys have any questions, please feel free. Still shoot some questions. I'm going to ask this question again because I know you guys had some fun with it. But how was it playing these iconic characters that have been literally, these characters have been around now, I think, for 56 years, Lorenzo, if I'm correct, at this point?
Can you hear me? Yeah, a little bit longer than that. I believe it's almost 60 now. So yeah, so these iconic characters. Brett, what about you?
Oh, absolutely amazing. It was an honor and a privilege, of course. Just taking on the helm of Captain Kirk and just embodying it on Zoom theater, first time ever. Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Mike playing Spock. There's that long debate, which we're not going to get into tonight, but Kirk or Spock. But playing.
It's a question for the ladies.
That is a question for the ladies, and honestly, it's often 50-50 from what I've read online. But Mike playing Spock.
Yeah, for me, it's always going to come back to Spock. We did talk about this before. It's like I don't do a whole lot of acting. I'll do it if it's necessary. And I remember Andy calling me up one day and saying like, hey, will you do this Star Trek reading? And I'm thinking in the back of my head like, oh, he's just going to have me play like Ensign number 2 in the background or something like that. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll read with you. He's like, great, you're reading Spock. And I was like, that's all you had to say, So like. That was one of the few things that would actually get me to put on my acting hat and, perform.
Cool. Tyler, You get to play, one of your favorite characters I know from the series has always been Dr. McCoy. How was it getting to play him for a little bit?
A lot of fun. He is he's my of the original series. He's my favorite character because he's so curmudgeonly is the best way I would describe him. He's but also very compassionate, and I like the way he spars with Spock on pretty much every episode, and the fact that he and Captain Kirk are so chummy. He'll walk onto the bridge and McCoy will just say hi Jim as opposed and just drop all formalities, and Kirk even has a cute little nickname for him, Bones, which is amazing. To be able to play him along with all these other actual actors, I'm usually at home just writing, but to get to do this with you guys has been a lot of fun.
Cool. Mr. Alloway, you're gonna be Scotty, who starts the infamous bar fight in the show. How was it for you playing this iconic character?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I love doing the accent, and I rewatched the episode and did some research and to make sure I had the accent right. Cool. I think I had the accent right.
No, you did a great job. It was fun. I mean, and just the everything. Everybody here did such a wonderful job. Mia, I want to ask you about this one. Playing Ahura. I know it wasn't the biggest Ahura episode, but if you, I hope you get a chance to watch it. She's really is one of the most groundbreaking characters in television history. Tell me about that one. Knowing a little bit more of the lore, I think now at this point, because I think also one of the first major groundbreaking moments was the first interracial kiss was actually in Star Trek. Between
the first interracial kiss on American TV.
Yes. So tell me, Mia, what about that one?
I mean, it was fun. It was definitely a bit of pressure, even for a reading, because Uhura is so legendary and, like you said, iconic, and it's such an important thing for, back in the 60s for this to be a thing at all. So it was a lot of fun, but yeah, a little bit of pressure, and it was fun and cool. And I guess I should watch some more Star Trek now.
Yeah, you should.
Jonathan, you have to play Chekhov in this one. How about that one?
For me, it was a lot of fun. Like I had said in the making of, before this, I really wasn't all that familiar with Star Trek. My house is very much a Star Wars house. I think with the exception of like my sister, but yeah, it's pretty much you become like the black sheep of the family if you don't like Star Wars. I mean, heck, my dog's even named Chewie. But honestly, this experience actually, I think, has made me like Star Trek more than Star Wars. I like the fact that, especially with this episode, it is very comedic. It's lighthearted. Also, personally, for me, I feel like Star Trek is a little bit easier to understand.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was an absolute blast. I'm definitely going to be watching probably every show, every episode. So y'all probably won't hear from me for a couple weeks.
Well, good thing if you're really going to do that, I'm going to bring up the first little bit of trivia question, or not trivia, but trivia fact.
Before we move on, Andy, real quick, Jonathan, say nuclear vessels.
Oh, God.
Do it.
Wow, I had the nuclear. Do
it.
Nuclear vessels.
Yes.
And here we see Tyler's sadistic side.
Yep.
That was not sadistic. That was fun for everybody. Shut up.
It was.
I had a Russian accent.
So Jonathan, if you're really going to do it, you're going to need to take some time off then, because first trivia facts for the night, including all 9 of the active Star Trek series that have gone into production and have aired, including the 10 mini episodes of short treks. Between all the series combined, there's 797 episodes of Trek.
That's nothing.
That's pretty impressive, since considering that an average TV show these days only has 10, because the way cable works now is 10 to 24 episodes, but combined over the different series, 797 episodes, 34 seasons.
That feels low somehow. It feels like there should be more.
Next Generation had the most episodes with 178. And I'll get some more of those numbers for you tomorrow night because we have some interesting facts about some certain Klingons that we have appearing tomorrow night. But I want to move on to some of the other characters on here. I want to say hi to welcome Gianna to our cast. This is actually her first show with us, and it was a pleasure to have you. And you got to play one of the most popular guest characters in the series is Cyrano Jones.
Stanley Adams, a fantastic character actor. I'm honored to step into his shoes. Cyrano just being Cyrano, making it my own, adding a little great Gildersleeve to it, kind of jazz it up to, again, make it my own house. But, just to sit in his shoes and play off Kirk and the Klingons and watch the bar fight from a distance going, well, free drinks for me.
Cool. It was a pleasure with that one. What else you guys want? This is kind of a fun one. We got Lorenzo Marchessi here. Normally Lorenzo's doing the questions during this type of thing, but this time he got to be on our side of the screen, I guess, or the stage. So Lorenzo, talk about us. You got to play a character who's played by a well-known character actor, and you got to join this ragtag group of performers.
Yes. William Shallard is the actor who played the character that I'm playing. And they do a little clip cutting in the Trials and Tribulations Deep Space Nine episode, using him again from the original. But yeah, just like you, I grew up as a child watching the series back in 1970. It had already been canceled in 1969, so I caught it in regular reruns, which at that time it was rerunning once a night. When it originally aired, it was once a week. So I got to see it all the time and know all the dialogue and music cues and all that other stuff. So yes, I'm a Star Trek fan. But as far as doing this project, it was amazing. Thank you for asking me. These guys, all these performers are doing an amazing job at characterizations and dramatizations, giving it their own spin, making it just as fun and funny to hear as well as watch. I think tonight's performances were outstanding in terms of, because I have very little to say, so I can spend a lot of time watching you guys. But it was fun. Tonight was really fun.
Cool. Pat, how are you doing? Or Patrick, as I like to call. I've known him as Pat since the entire time I've known him. You got to play. Now you're playing more of a major role tomorrow night, but you got to play some of the comedic stuff tonight. So well with Gianna doing the barman Cyrano Jones. Talk about this. This will be a part of this iconic episode.
Oh, I'm glad to be aboard. Glad to be a part of this crew for sure. And yeah, glad to be here. I'm just glad overall. This has been fun to get to know this episode and this material, and finally put the Tribbles in context, because I'd heard about them through cultural osmosis, but I didn't really get like the point of them. Now I see.
Cool. Mr. Bobby Watson playing Arn Darvin, the real villain in the episode.
Yeah, he goes kind of right under the radar. He's like, his plan would have succeeded perfectly if it wasn't for Cyrano Jones and those meddling Tribbles. Really, all he had to do is just nothing, and his plan would have worked. We just let if he knew that Cyrano was coming, if he knew about the Tribbles, he wouldn't have gotten caught. He wouldn't have poisoned the Quadro Triticale.
Cool. And then, last but not least, Mr. Vincent Miller, who played all of our Klingons. He's also the general manager and head of tech for Worcester Productions. Except for tonight, I was the tech guru. So all the little sound effects you heard, and I threw a couple extra ones throughout the night. But Vince, you get to play Klingons, and Vince doesn't normally take stage, guys. So this is a big thing to have Vince on here. So it's always a pleasure having Vince on here. So
thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And granted, the Klingons don't have a really big role in the episode in general, except for the fact that they don't have a prominent role as far as on screen, but the role they do serve is important. It cues in Kirk into what's going on, into what's actually going on with the Quadrotriticale.
Yeah. And they're great. Klingons have always probably is till this day the most iconic, foes and partners, whatever you want to look at them as in the Star Trek universe.
They really are.
Frenemies.
Yep.
It's so much fun to watch them. But you guys are still getting some more love. If I may share some more things with you guys, everybody just says that they had great job, everyone. Kirk pentameter on par for Brett. No contest. Bones is my favorite character. Yeah. Angie, I can promise you, no Tribbles were harmed at all in the making of this episode, as far as we know. What happened when the cameras were off, I can't tell you, but no. But no, the Tribbles were a lot of fun. Do we have, so Jen wanted to piggyback on Catherine's question. Do you guys have a venue chosen for next in the house production after lockdown ends? We are in talks with, I can tell you this, before the lockdown happened, we were with two other theaters. And what I can probably say, or at this moment, I'm happy to say both theaters are still up and running. They've made it through. They're doing different things. I can't say if we will be at which ones for which shows. Obviously, I think it's safe to say, and I think most theater companies are in the same boat, and so a lot of theaters are. There's so many unknowns right now with what's going on with when theater can open up and under what restrictions theaters can open up in. So I don't want to confirm, yes, we're going to be at this particular venue yet in 2022. We do hope to be in 2022 when it's safe. It all depends on what's going to happen, 6 months from now when we see where the world's at. So, but hopefully, we'll be back. Our hope is to be back in hopefully the beginning of 2022 if it's safe to do so. But like I said, once again, safety is the utmost thing for everybody. And I want, like I said, you guys, the audience matters the most to me. My cast matters. Everybody here on the screen, everybody who's watching at home, you guys are what matters the most to me. And I will not put you guys in any danger. So that is my highest priority. And listen, we got a lot of other people watching. So I wanted to share a couple more things with you guys. Interestingly enough, as I said, 500 Tribbles were dropped on Captain Kirk during that infamous scene. Did you know that behind the scenes for the rest of that season, the production crew was still cleaning up Tribbles behind scenes of other episodes? Because the Tribbles would just pop out because they would reuse a lot of the same set pieces for episodes, and they would move things around, and all of a sudden a Tribble would pop out. So according to the production crew, it was spending a better part of almost 6 months finding Tribbles and different locations in the studio.
Tribbles are the deep space glitter. They get everywhere.
Nichelle Nichols has said that this episode also went through more rewrites than a traditional episode of Star Trek did. So things were changing during production. However, almost everybody, including William Shatner, has said that this is probably the cast's all-time favorite episode of the film, just because of how comedic it was. Even he apparently was a good sport during the whole Tribble scene, which they apparently had to film several times. But yes. And traditionally, this episode also does rank in the top 10 episodes of all of Trek. Can anybody guess what usually ranks number one as the number one episode of all time? Lorenzo?
City on the Edge of Forever.
Yes. It traditionally ranks at number one when you just compared all the original series, but also one or two as a whole. It often competes with Best of Both Worlds from Next Generation, the infamous two-parter with the Borg, which might be making an appearance in a Worst Productions reading coming up soon. It's also one of my other personal favorite episodes of it. If you ever want to see just one of the darkest episodes of Star Trek, is the Best of Both Worlds. So we might have some fun with that one coming up, not in the distant future. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, Mud. He's a great episode as well. Angie, thank you. Michael says, yes. So, Lorenzo, you guys had a Tribble bouquet?
Yes. And why don't you say, well, what it is for people who don't know what we're talking about is my husband, Michael, actually, and I had a Star Trek wedding. And we had quite a few guests. I'd say 45% of the guests actually showed up in kind of costume across the board Star Trek. We didn't know that was going to happen, so that was a nice surprise. And our bouquets were Tribbles, and we tossed them into the audience at the dance, and people went home with Tribbles.
Okay, that's kind of adorable and awesome.
It is cool. Yes, let's see here. Yeah, Michael says when he goes, our wedding bouquets were made of Tribbles when we did bouquet toss. Heather died for one and caught it in midair. So
Heather, let me just tell you, Heather not only dived, I think she threw 6 or 7 people out of the way and was very determined to get it. And we have it on our video. So if you want to check out Heather, it's fun. So
yeah. Wynn says Andy has a script too. Yes. In regards to Best of Both Worlds, Wayne and I, between the two of us, actually have the 2 official episodes of Next Generation. I can't remember who has what, but I have one in my closet. I know he has one at home. One of us is part 1, part 2. They gave it at a Star Trek convention, and we were the lucky recipients to each get one of them. So between the 2 of us, we have the complete episode, or the 2-parter. Keith Cat joined us, guys. Keith Player's in the house, and he'll actually tune in tomorrow night. If you're a fan of Keith, he'll be playing the iconic Mr. Worf tomorrow night in our show. But yeah, so guys, we want to thank you guys. I don't know about you. I had a lot of fun. Did everybody in the cast have fun tonight? So should we do it again tomorrow night?
How about a different episode tomorrow night?
Want to do a different episode? How about we do the Trials and Tribulations from Deep Space Nine? Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah, I think so.
I can work behind that.
Will let Andre and Ann play with us too?
Might be a stretch to get Ann to play.
We'll do it. Why not?
You can work your magic.
I'll make a phone call.
The costuming for women, wow.
Oh, and Star Trek, just I think.
Or the lack of costume.
Lack of costume, yes. I read an interesting fact. I guess at one point, both Nichelle Nichols and Grace Lee Whitney, who played Yaman Rand during the first season, apparently had a contest for a while to see who could get away with wearing a shorter skirt. They kept trying to raise the length of their skirt a little bit. So there's a contest to see who could get away with it before somebody in the production crew would say something. So I've read that on several of the things. I have not confirmed that, but as apparently an interesting bit of trivia. I know Lorenzo's like, wait, really? But I have heard that one before. All that leg, yes, they do. I think that I will always be saying I'm a big fan of the costumes in the original series. Not Next Generation had some good ones, but the original series, and not just saying about go-go boots and miniskirts are great, they are, but just the costumes in general. I just like the look of them, the velour costumes. I'm a big fan of Captain Kirk's, that goldish green one he wears, especially like Mirror, and as well as in this one. Just some great stuff, guys. It really is. But with that being said, folks, I know some people, I got a couple texts about it as well. They would like to know. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys for a second here. Let me share my screen. Can I do that? Okay, cool. Yes. Oh, yes, you are seeing everything. You're seeing Facebook. And then, yes, this is what we use to run our sound for the Angry Tribble sounds. But you guys were asking about donations. And once again, folks, thank you so much. If you guys are in a position to do so, we understand times are tough for everyone. And, if you can, we just thank you to help spread the word. If you guys are in a position to do so, you can go ahead and donate to us on Venmo or PayPal to make your life really easy. All right, here we have on the screen here. If you just hold your cell phone, open up your camera and go over one of the 2 images on the screen here, like the Venmo one or PayPal. It'll take you straight to our PayPal or our Venmo page. And like I said, every dollar helps. It goes right back into the theater company, and it goes to help us produce shows. Like our upcoming one, like I said, Monstrosities, one we're working on, Twisted Game Night, and a couple others. And we're also doing some other fun stuff right here online, which does help to do some fun stuff, such as Fandemonium. We also have a thing called The Concept coming up, which we're also doing here on Zoom, as well as this holiday season. We are doing one thing. We're bringing back the return of one of our personal favorite shows, Christmas After Dark, which is going to be a night dark comedy set and kind of during a Christmas setting. So we hope that you guys come back for that. But yeah, you guys will leave this up for a second. Once again, if you want to just type it in, if you have a Venmo, it's at Worst Ever Prods, or if you go on PayPal, it's paypal.me /Worst Ever Prods. And like I said, guys, if you can't, just share the love and the word of, Worst Ever Productions. You guys had a great time tonight. And I'll go ahead and we'll stop the share screen that way. But yeah, folks, guys, thank you so much for everybody at home watching. To the awesome cast and crew, thank you guys so very much. You guys, oh, wait, I just got a text message about one thing. Yes, we are in May. It's been confirmed. Kelly's telling me right now I got to do this. We have another show coming up, which I'm going to announce here first for everyone. This is a big one. For you guys who like film and want to do a film project in 100 hours, we are bringing you guys Controlled Chaos. If you guys saw our little thing we did back for St. Patrick's Day last week, Controlled Chaos, the Ballad of the Bright-Eyed Woman, we are bringing it back. And this one will be with several different shows. Writers and their teams will actually have 100 hours to create a film. And we will be bringing that this May. So some fun stuff coming about that soon. But yes, so guys, thank you once again, folks at home. We appreciate you having you guys here. The cast and the crew appreciates it. We're going to go ahead and sign off. So Cass will stay with me so we can go ahead and celebrate. Maybe we'll get some fuzzy tribbles in a moment. But ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for watching at home. We guys hope you had a great time. And we'll see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. for Trials and Tribulations right here on the Worst Ever Productions Facebook page. Love you guys. Everybody stay safe. Be well to each other. And in the words of the great Mr. Spock, live long and prosper. Thank you, guys.